Welcome everyone to the Aboriginal Housing Management Association's Energy Star Portfolio Manager webinar. Today I'll be your host, Sarah Fralin. And I just wanted to start with a land acknowledgement. So today we are gathering virtually from the unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And I just want to emphasize that we really honor the elders past, present, and future from each of these nations and their traditional territories. AHMA is really grateful and privileged to be able to operate within these very beautiful territories. And I just wanted to also acknowledge the unprecedented weather we have been having lately and send out good wishes to everyone and hope that everybody is safe and comfortable in their homes, and if not, are being well supported by their communities. So if you're not familiar, AHMA is an umbrella organization composed of, at this point, 51 members. So we are growing rapidly. Our members are each Indigenous housing and service providers throughout the province. And our members represent approximately 8,700 Indigenous families living in urban, rural, and northern regions. We are an organization that was created for Indigenous peoples by Indigenous peoples, and we are proud to say that we are the first Indigenous housing authority in Canada and second in the world. So I just want to start by introducing our panelists. So the first panelist I'm going to introduce is Rochelle. So Rochelle, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey, hello, everybody. My name is Rochelle Groves, and I'm an asset management coordinator with BC Nonprofit Housing Association. And grateful to be joining AHMA today to talk to you a little bit more about what we do at BCNPHA. And our asset management provides support with to the nonprofit housing sector with energy audits, retrofit coaching, which is navigating incentives and funding, along with energy benchmarking.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. And next, I would like to introduce Patrick.
Hi, Pat Carraher from AHMA, obviously. Energy and sustainability specialist. I've been with AHMA for a couple of years, and we've slowly but surely been seeing people signing up for Energy Star Portfolio Manager, and like to thank BCMPH for supporting that. They do all the grunt work in terms of getting all the utility information, getting everything set up. Yes, and hopefully out of this we'll have some more members that are interested in enrolling.
Thank you so much, Pat. So as I mentioned before, my name is Sarah, and I'm also an energy advisor with AHMA on the asset strategies team. And I just want to take a moment to welcome all of our members and other Indigenous guests in the audience. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A box. And we've got some time at the end of this presentation to go through all of your questions. So today we are learning about Energy Star Portfolio Manager. Energy Star Portfolio Manager, or ESPM for short, is a tool that you can use to measure and track energy consumption and your greenhouse gas emissions. This is important for AHMA's membership because we are moving towards a place where we'll be reporting on yearly gas and electricity usage with the goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions in the nonprofit housing sector. So Energy Star Portfolio Manager is a free and user-friendly tool that you can use to upload and manage this data. And I'll pass it to Rochelle to tell us a little bit more.
So when you sign up for Energy Star Portfolio Manager and work with AHMA and BCMPHA, we will create an Energy Star Portfolio Manager account for you on your behalf. And then when it's all set up, we will give you access to that account where you can choose to go in and monitor how much energy you're consuming. So I took some screenshots here from the programs to give you a sense of what you will see when you log in. So you'll be, for each of the buildings that you have signed up, you'll be able to see utility monitoring. So that'll be both your natural gas and electricity provided monthly for the past 3 years. There's also GHG emissions tracking, as well as some performance metrics, which allow you to compare how your buildings are doing against each other and for similar buildings. And then, so how this works is that BC Hydro and Fortis set up an automatic data transfer. This is great because each month they will automatically upload your data, and there's a one-time sign up, and you don't need to go in and adjust this manually each time. And yeah, so with that, I will pass it over to Pat, who will go over how this data is used case study.
Yeah, so the case study we chose was for one of Vancouver Native Housing's buildings called Quietsit. So this is a building at Fraser and Broadway, which supports 30 youth and 73 adult residents with various services. These supports are provided to residents through the Pacific Community Resource Society and the Broadway Youth Resource Center. Next slide, please, Sarah. So actually, prior to us even having an energy department, Van Native was actually really sort of ahead of the game. They had got enrolled in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, I think about three or even 4 years ago. So that was really good that they had that initiative to do that. And we started tracking this building in particular because they had a boiler additive added to their system, which is supposed to make the heat transfer of the system essentially work better, and so that the bills would be lower. So I was kind of monitoring that off and on just to kind of see how the system was performing with this additive included. Great initial results. We did all the weather, normalized it for weather, looked at the statistics, everything was going great. The first spring after they had this added, lo and behold, we checked this spring to take a look at how it performed last winter, and it did not perform nearly as well. And we did a little bit of digging, and their contractor did a little bit of digging, and it appeared that the geothermal loop, so it was using the ground essentially to heat the water to heat the building, it was no longer working properly. So now the gas backup boiler had kicked in, and there's essentially their electricity usage was pretty stable, but their gas usage went up considerably. So this was an example of using this system to figure out that actually there was a problem with the building. So we were able to catch it early on, and we're now in the process of getting engineering support to figure out exactly what's wrong with the geothermal system. So you can go to the next slide there, Sarah. So there you can actually see it. So you can see when we initially put the endotherm into the system around January 2020, and then the gas usage actually was down pretty low. This wasn't weather normalized, I don't believe. So once we normalized it, we did see savings. And then you can see for January, like December, January into February and March of this year, the gas usage just went up through the roof. So that's when we kind of said, hey, what the heck's going on here? Let's take a look at this. And in doing some more digging with their contractor, it did appear that there's issues with the geothermal system. You can go to the next slide, Sarah. So the benefits of ESPM, Energy Star Portfolio Manager, for our benefits is the data monitoring. So you can, on a monthly basis, you can go in and see how your buildings are performing. And from our point of view, for GHG tracking. So the province is asking now that all of our provincially owned assets that we report on the amount of gas and electricity they're using so that we can track the greenhouse gas production of those buildings. So from our point of view, if you do enroll in this program, we can help you monitor your energy use, flag any unusual activity or problems, and it's very easy to enroll. At the end of the webinar, we'll have a contact info for Rochelle. And you just need to email her and she'll go through all the quick steps that you need to do to enroll.
Thank you so much, Pat. So we're going to go back to Rochelle to tell us a little bit more about who's eligible and how to sign up.
Yeah, so BCMPHA will provide support signing you up because it can be a little bit difficult to navigate Energy Star Portfolio Manager. So to get started, we do need to assess your eligibility because this is only available to BC Hydro and FortisBC commercial account holders. And so that would mean that applies to apartment buildings, most townhouse complexes, and as long as they have 10 plus residential units. This is because BC Hydro will aggregate all these accounts together and then upload them to Portfolio Manager all as one set of data. And then this can also apply to other commercial buildings such as care facilities, community centers, office buildings, that type of thing. And unfortunately, this doesn't include single family homes because they are on a residential rate. With unfortunately, it's considered only one unit. So we can't do the aggregation from BC Hydro. So next slide, Sarah. So if you are interested in signing up, we want to make it as easy as possible for you. It's a one-time sign-up process, as I mentioned, and then the data will continue to flow automatically from the utilities. To sign up, we start you off with just a permission form from BCMPHA, which will collect some basic building information. So you'll need to collect very simple things such as your address, the total square footage, your construction, and then also number of units. And then if you're having trouble with your total square footage or your construction, it can be an estimate and we can help you estimate that for you. And then the other thing you'll need to collect is your most recent utility bills. And I do stress most recent because BC Hydro will only accept the first 2 months. So if it's anything from the past 2 months or so, we'll unfortunately have to follow up again and have to do the whole bill collection process. So really important that it is the most recent. And so when you send the bills, it can be just a scanned copy, a photo of a paper copy of the bills, or if you have the online utility portal set up, you can take a screenshot and then I'm more than happy to walk you through the correct information you need to get from that. And then I'll take a look at your bills, and especially if you're uncertain of your eligibility, I'll take a look through to see if your accounts are able to access the automatic utility download from the utilities, and then we'll figure out if we need to aggregate all of the residential suites as well based on how your accounts are set up. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that, and we'll move on to a Q&A where you can ask us questions about this.
Thank you so much, Patrick and Rochelle, for sharing both the case study and some more information on the process of who's eligible and how to sign up for Energy Star Portfolio Manager. So I just want to take an opportunity to engage with our audience members. So if anybody has a question right now they would like to ask, you can either unmute yourself and tell us that question yourself, or you can type it into the chat or the Q&A box. So I'll just wait a moment and see if anybody is interested in asking any questions. Great. Sandy, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
So I was just wondering about the annual reporting that we're going to have to do. Will this take care of it, or is this just in addition? Like, is this just facilitated for us?
In terms of any reporting that we would pass on to BC Housing in terms of usage, you wouldn't have to do anything beyond enrolling in this. That's one of the benefits of it, is that we won't have to call up your accounting and bother you to have a bunch of bills, right? So
Okay.
it just takes that step out of the process.
Cool.
Thanks, Sandy. Anybody else have any questions that we can answer?
And I guess I have a question for Rochelle. It will collect further back than 3 years as well, will it not? Or is that as far back as it'll go if you're registering right now?
If you're registering right now, it only goes back 3 years.
Sandy, you do have another question. Go ahead.
I guess this question would be for Rochelle. With how it works, like on my Fortis bill, my gas bill, it's just one bill because it's 1 meter, but all my electric is broken down into units. Like I can tell which unit is using more. When I do that in the Energy Star portfolio manager, is that going to break it down into my units as well? Or will it just be a conglomerate total?
Yeah, so unfortunately in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, it is a conglomerate total. It's due to a privacy reason with BC Hydro. They won't upload individual residential account just because to protect, people's individual data.
Okay, well, good thing I made my spreadsheets then. Because that's what I'm actually doing right now, is going over my energy usage from since last year when we made improvements and LED lighting and the whole ECAP program. I'm just checking it out to see how the usage has been in the last year.
And for those members who do have single family homes in their portfolio, obviously in most cases the society, if they have access to any of those, if they're paying the bills, or in some cases even if they're not, they might have access to the tenant bills. Just keep track of it in a spreadsheet and kind of compare it from year to year, column to column, and it gives you an idea of where the usage is going over time, whether it's going up or down, and to look at if maybe there's issues with the mechanicals in the building or some other shortcoming. Since you can't upload single family to Energy Star Portfolio Manager, unfortunately.
Thanks, Pat. We had one question come into the chat. So the question is, once a society has signed up, will they have access to log into Energy Star Portfolio Manager to see all the graphs? And will the graph look like the one that was shown in our case study?
Yep. So like I mentioned, we'll make an account for you on your behalf, but then give you your password and full access to your account. What happens is I'll share back the properties to BCNPHA and AHMA so that they can do ongoing monitoring if you give permission. And then you have the opportunity to cancel or rescind the sharing at any time because it is your account. And yes, when you log in, you will see that exact graph, and it'll show both your natural gas and electricity and what it's doing month to month.
Thank you. So I think that is all the questions that we have for now. Thank you everybody for engaging with us in this webinar. So I just wanted to close again by thanking our panelists. So thank you so much, Rochelle from BC and PHA, for joining us today and telling us more about eligibility and how to sign up. And thank you so much, Pat, for sharing the case study with us. If you have further questions or you are interested in signing up, please reach out to any of us, and our email addresses are here on the screen. We'll be happy to walk you through the process and answer any other questions you have. So thank you, everybody, and I hope that you have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.